Good morning and welcome to this morning's reflection. As we approach Christmas, we notice how much of the world around us is filled with hustle and bustle. People who are working long hours to deal with the Christmas rush. People talk about longing for their holiday time, for their rest from the world of work. People who are shopping and planning. There's just so much drivenness that surrounds us at this time of the year. Those of us who are older can sometimes feel that we are in a side eddy of this mainstream hustle and bustle of life. We may remember the days when we might too have been part of this driven world. And perhaps that drivenness gave us a sense of worth. And perhaps we had a role that defined us and gave us status in society. And we think back to those times where we too went to office parties. And so in the midst of this Christmas rush, those of us who may have retired can feel a sense of being left behind, a sense of no longer being at the forefront of life. Instead of the children coming to us for Christmas, we go to them. Sometimes we can feel that we are becoming observers of life as it rushes by, and we're not sure that we have a role to play anymore. And so this is the time that we begin to question our worth in society. The world judges its achievements by speed and busyness. Time and space, time and thought have very little currency now. It becomes harder by the day to find time to think. And so instead of thinking, we do. We act. People are so busy making things happen that they have very little time left to think about the value of what is happening. We urgently need people who concentrate on the meaning of life rather than simply the speed, the mechanization, and the computerization of it. People no longer seem to care if we've ever baited a hook or saved a dying bird or devoted our lives to enhancing the quality of life of those around us. They do not ask us what we believe or why, what we would die for or why, what we hope for or why. Clearly, meaning does not seem to be what we are about in our kind of world. No wonder so many of us feel like pawns on a board, like cogs in a gear. And the message that we have internalized is clear. We are what we do and what we own, not what we are inside of ourselves, where it counts. For the sake of our happiness and our mental health, we must also answer the question, what am I when I am not what I used to do? And does anybody really care? And what does that have to do with growing into God? When the job ends, or the position disappears, or the role outlives itself, when I am not the money maker anymore, or the boss anymore, or the councilwoman anymore, or the teacher anymore, or even the parent in residence anymore, what does it mean to be alive? With years ahead of me now, what can I do to avoid the hollowness within? That hollowness that comes with the stripping away of all the accoutrements of life that go with a job, like cocktail parties for the staff, or the company picnics for families, or the holiday letters that detail all my successes to my friends. This is the time of coming home to the self. And I find myself stripped of all the accessories of life. Now, I am face to face with myself, and the fear is that there isn't one. I have spent my life being somebody important, and now there's nothing left but me. I no longer run anything. I'm not becoming anything. I'm just me. And what is that? What do others see in me now? What does God see in me now? What do I see in myself now? What am I doing with my time? What gets me out of bed in the morning? The world has been upside down for so long, it's almost impossible to believe anymore that the meaning of life is not about doing. The notion that it is about being caring, being interested, being honest, being truthful, being available, being spiritual, being involved with the important things of life, of living, that notion is so rare, so unspoken of as to be obtuse. We don't even know what it means anymore. So it is our role to prod the people around us, to reflect on what they themselves are doing while they can still change. It is about what we strive to do because it is worth doing, because it's God's will for the world. Taking care of my neighbor, who is far more limited than I am, gives me something to think about other than myself. Dedicating myself to the local school as a teacher's aide helps me to develop the next generation. Becoming the one in every group who asks more than just, "And what do you do for a living?" might even be the very thing that gives spiritual meaning to their lives. Cicero was right. The older generation has a great deal to give to the world. But first, they must come to value it themselves. The burden of these years is that we might allow ourselves to believe that not being as fast or as busy as we used to be is some kind of human deficiency. The blessing of these years is that we come to understand that it is the quality of what we think and say that makes us valuable members of society, not how fast or busy we are. So this Christmas, in the rush to do, in the hustle and bustle, stop for a moment and choose to be the one who can simply be present. Be the one who can draw people towards the true meaning of this time. This Christmas, be the one with the gift of space, the gift of time, and the gift of meaning. Amen.